Watering a garden may seem easy, however, there are several mistakes you can make that will substantially diminish your vegetable harvests. Hi, my name's Lucas, and in this video, I'm going to go over some watering pitfalls and explain how you can steer clear of them. Watering plants overhead with a hose or sprinkler may seem like a good idea. It's easy to do, allows you to water in tight spaces, and eliminates the need to refill and lug your sprayer or watering can around. However, this makes leaves wet, which will make them more prone to fungal and viral diseases like powdery mildew and blight. You see, disease thrives in moist, humid environments and is a lot less likely to occur where it's dry. Instead of watering from above, I recommend watering each plant at its base. This can be very time consuming if you water by hand like me. It's best if you have an automatic irrigation system, which I'll briefly discuss near the end of this video. There's a common gardening rule of thumb that you shouldn't water when it's sunny out, because water droplets on the leaves and soil will act as a magnifying glass and burn the leaves and roots. But this is a myth, because the water would evaporate before this effect could take place. Of course, there's not much you can do if it rains, unless you grow under a greenhouse or use a plastic cover. But when you're in control, try not to wet the leaves. This next mistake often happens because gardeners care too much about their plants. Watering too frequently is such a common problem in the garden, and it usually causes more harm than good. If the soil is always saturated with water, plants will not grow and fruit to their maximum potential. This has to do with the roots. Roots that are constantly exposed to moisture may rot or drown, and this will stunt your plants or kill them outright. Also, watering too frequently may cause your plants to die because roots require oxygen to stay healthy, and waterlogged soil contains no air pockets. Finally, roots that have a constant supply of water will stay small and underdeveloped because they won't have to search for it. This will make your plants less efficient at taking up water and nutrients in the future. It's kind of like if you spoil your kids all the time. They'll probably have trouble finding motivation to be successful in life because they're used to being handed everything. It's the same thing with plants and watering too often. They will not become as healthy and productive because they won't develop a strong root system to support themselves. The surface of the soil may look dry, but this is deceiving because there actually may be water deeper down in the soil that the plants can still access. The way I judge whether I should water is I stick my finger into the soil, and if the tip of my finger feels damp, I know it's not time to water yet. I check this every few days depending on the weather. Just a note, some types of plants have genetically shallower root systems, and leaving the top of the soil dry could damage or kill the roots. So these need to be kept fairly moist at all times. Some examples of plants with shallow roots include lettuce and cucurbits, such as cucumbers, squash, pumpkins, and melons. Mistake number 3 is shallow watering. Similar to watering too frequently, watering plants shallowly leads to undeveloped roots since they have no need to extend deep into the soil to find moisture. Again, this makes it harder for the plant to absorb water and nutrients. Watering thoroughly is the best way to irrigate plants because it puts water deep into the ground. This means that when the top few inches of soil are dry, the roots will extend to the water deeper in the ground, ultimately forming a bigger, stronger root system and in turn a more productive plant. The fourth mistake a lot of gardeners make is watering too harshly. This damages the root system of plants and erodes the soil. With the top layer of soil eroded, roots will dry out more quickly and will be exposed to pests and critters. Watering harshly can also splash fungal spores onto the leaves and stems of your plants, contributing to disease. The key is to water softly, keeping the roots and soil intact and healthy. Using a nice layer of mulch like wood chips or straw is a great way to create a buffer that'll prevent the roots from being exposed, minimize splashback, and also keep the soil consistently moist. Another mistake gardeners make is watering during non-ideal times of the day. Rapid evaporation makes watering in the afternoon wasteful. Watering in the evening gives disease the whole night to attack your plants, because moisture can't evaporate when there's no sun. The best time to water is in the early morning, just before the sun has risen. This is because the sun will shine on the leaves, stems, and soil throughout the day and evaporate the water, creating a dry environment that is inhospitable for disease. Many gardeners have busy schedules. We live in a fast-paced world and sometimes it's hard to keep up with watering. Inconsistent watering often comes as a result of this. For example, you water your plants every other day for a week, then you don't water again until 3 weeks later. This sporadic watering can be very detrimental to vegetables, especially fruiting plants like tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers. In fact, inconsistent watering is a big culprit of blossom end rot because it interferes with the uptake of calcium. Fluctuating water levels also contribute to cracking, particularly if your plants are given lots of water after a long dry spell. Consistent watering is easier to accomplish if you use a calendar and mark down the days you plan on irrigating. A good rule of thumb is to water about once a week. The most efficient and effective way to water is with some sort of automatic or hands-free system. For example, drip irrigation systems and soaker hoses use tubes to deliver water directly to plant roots. All you need to do is set up the system and then use a timer to water your garden for a set amount of time. You can also use oyas. Oyas are basically clay pots that you bury near the base of your plants. Fill them with water and it will drip slowly out of the pores of the clay pots. So you're probably wondering, why am I watering with a hose then? It's because I have such a small garden and the nearest tap is in the garage, making it hard to set up a drip system. These tips apply to every plant in your garden. Of course, different plants have different watering requirements which depend on the growth stage they are in. Watering the garden well all throughout the growing season is a little tricky to master, but it's well worth it in the end. Get it right and you'll have healthier plants and bigger harvests of delicious vegetables. That's it for this episode. Hopefully you found it useful. I tried to cover everything I could think of, but I'm sure there's some watering mistakes and tips I missed. If you have any to share, or you have any questions, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Also, leave a like and subscribe if you're interested in more gardening videos similar to this one. Thanks for watching and good luck with your watering.